I did everything they told me to do. I stayed out of trouble. I studied hard. I went to college. I got a corporate job. And somehow, I still ended up broke. Not the kind of broke where you can't eat, but the kind where your paycheck disappears in 3 days, and you spend the rest of the month pretending you're fine. This is my story. And my brothers. I wasn't born with money. My little brother Jade and I grew up in a small apartment, the kind where the walls feel like they're closing in on your dreams. My dad worked in a factory, and my mom cleaned houses. They both worked long hours, barely enough to keep food on the table. My dad believed in one thing: education. He said, "Manny, study hard. Education will make you rich, just like your uncle." But life had a way of teaching lessons books never could. And what I learned back then would shape everything I did. School wasn't easy. Every morning, Jade and I trudged to public school, backpacks heavier than our tiny shoulders could carry. Books were expensive. School fees loomed like mountains, and lunch often meant peanut butter sandwiches we couldn't even finish. I remember watching kids with new sneakers, shiny backpacks, laptops in their hands, and wondering why we didn't have any of that. Our father promised education would make us rich, but he never mentioned the part where we'd struggle to even get there. So we worked. I mowed lawns, ran errands, helped neighbors with chores. Jade, though younger, did his best too. Every dime we earned went straight into school fees, and yet there was never enough. By high school, I realized something most kids never do. Good grades don't pay bills. Perfect report cards don't buy groceries. Scholarships helped, but there were strings attached: forms, tests, applications. And still, every month, the bills piled up. I worked long hours after school, juggling jobs that most kids my age didn't even know existed. I delivered newspapers, stocked shelves, babysat, anything to keep us afloat. And Jade, he tried to emulate me, thinking that was the path out of struggle. Our father's promise of wealth through education alone felt more like a cruel joke as we counted coins in our tiny apartment each night. Fast forward a few years. I got into college, the one I paid for with every ounce of energy I had. I thought that degree was my golden ticket. I thought the American dream was just one graduation away. I was wrong. I entered the corporate world, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, chasing promotions, deadlines, and emails that never ended. I worked 12-hour days, barely seeing the sunlight, barely seeing life outside the cubicle walls. And the money, it barely covered rent, food, and student loans. Yet, people around me called it ambition. I called it survival. Jade followed his own path, but we shared the same realization: hard work alone, even with education, does not equal wealth. Not in this system. Not without understanding money. It took me years to understand the truth. Education is not wealth. Work is not freedom. Sacrifice is not success. You can follow all the rules, get all the grades, work all the hours, and still live paycheck to paycheck, trading time for money like a prisoner. This lesson became my guide. I realized that wealth is a strategy, a mindset, a game that most people play blindly. Manny Wilson doesn't just tell stories. He reveals patterns, strategies, and truths that can turn struggle into opportunity. And Jade and I endured poverty. We endured struggle. But survival was only the first step. True wealth, that's something you have to fight for, smartly and strategically. If you think studying hard alone will make you rich, think again. The rules of money are not in textbooks. They're in strategy, awareness, and action. Follow me, Manny Wilson, and join TCW, the Chronicles of Wealth. Learn the truth, survive the struggle, and start building real wealth.